Today, there was a lot of smoking going on in Sydney, Australia on Saturday, where Dricus du Plessis smoked on that Sean Strickland mustache pack. And then, what about Zhang Weili as she lit up that Tatiana fire and smoked that all the way through 5 rounds? All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's Go Cards. It's Muhammad Ali. Holla at me. We are here to go over UFC 312, which is now in the books. A card that pretty much everybody was just looking forward to the top 2 fights. And that's about it. And that's pretty much what we're going to cover. It wasn't the worst card, but it wasn't a card that had you in your feels, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a card that pulled at your heartstrings. It wasn't a card to stay up late for. It wasn't a card to wake up early for. You know what I'm saying? But let's start out with the tippy top. In the main event, Dricus du Plessis goes out there. He sits down his ashtray. He puts on his smoker's jacket, nice little, 1970s type smoker jacket, sits down in his comfy chair in the middle of the octagon, had his favorite cognac in a nice little glass, and he proceeded to light up and smoke that Strickland mustache pack. As Dricus du Plessis goes out there and I wouldn't say puts on a show, but halted Sean Strickland at every pass that he tried to do. And Dricus du Plessis goes out there and defends his middleweight championship against Sean Strickland. Now, off the tippy top, what I'd like to say is all of you chess match, all of you fans that love a good chess match fighter, you love a fighter with the perfect jab and a perfect kick and perfect footwork and all of these things. What you got to say now? Dricus du Plessis beat your king. He beat Israel Adesanya. He beat the man that beat Izzy twice. What you got to say now? He smoked Robert Whittaker, not quite as good as Izzy did in the first Robert Whittaker fight, but still, he smoked Robert Whittaker. What are we doing here? It's so hilarious to me. Shout out to you, Dan Hardy. You're one of the people I'm talking to, you know what I'm saying? You on your podcast, you're just flabbergasted. You cannot believe that Dricus du Plessis is going out here and beating all of these people. Well, believe it, bro. Believe it, bro, because you can sit around and practice the perfect jab and the perfect stance and your perfect footwork all you want. But then when a guy comes in with the style that you can't figure out because y'all think it looks so bad, because it doesn't make sense, in what I just said, that makes perfect sense. You want a style that makes absolutely no sense to where you chess match fighters like Israel Adesanya cannot figure it out and you get waxed. And that's what keeps happening. So to all of you people in, mixed martial arts, that love perfect style fighting, Dricus du Plessis is going to keep on winning. And y'all can't deal with it. Steel Knox, Dricus du Plessis is breaking the Matrix. While you other fighters is out there playing the Matrix. And you're dodging bullets like Neo. And you're doing Bro, Dricus du Plessis is out here styling on y'all. And making y'all look bad. And all y'all can do is make videos and get on your little podcasts and everything else and degrade and talk down about the man's style. Put some respect on his name, bro. Steel Knox Dricus du Plessis is setting a path at middleweight that might go far past Israel Adesanya by the time it's all said and done, because y'all still haven't figured it out yet. Sometimes he goes for takedowns. Sometimes he tries to get his opponents to the ground. Sometimes he don't. Man's got amazing spinning back kicks. The man spams punches, and he don't really care that when he gets tired. He doesn't really care. His punches loop. His punches reach around your guard and bing, bing, bing. The man, bro, all I'm saying is put some respect on Dricus du Plessis' name as he goes out there and, you know, he won 5 rounds straight against Sean Strickland. But if anything, maybe you give Strickland 1 round. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you give him like maybe the 3rd round, maybe. But bro, he's going out there and he's doing things and y'all can't explain it. You can't describe it. And that's what makes his style beautiful to me. Because all that matters is he keeps on winning. And the supposed best fighters cannot figure out this style. And it's great. I love it. I love it. You know, watching Dricus du Plessis make pundits like Dan Hardy get perplexed by how he keeps winning, it makes my teeth white in the morning. I love it. It's just great. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dricus du Plessis. Still knocks. He's still the champion, and he's still doing his thing. Afterwards, he makes a call out of Alex Pereira. You know, I don't know if that fight ever happens. I'm a huge Pereira fan, but honestly, I might give it to Dricus du Plessis if it was to ever happen, because Alex Poatan Pereira would have to weight drain himself so much to get back down to 185 pounds. I think Dricus would lay him out, honestly. Because now, if they were fighting up at 205, that's a different story. That's a different animal. You don't want that Poatan 205 smoke. But if you're going to make him weight drain another 15 pounds and go down to, if you're going to make him weight drain and go down, what is that? Actually, another 20 pounds down to 185, bro, I'd probably pick Dricus in that one. More than likely, though, Dricus' next opponent is going to be Khamzat Chimaev, which I'm all for. Let's go ahead and get down to that. Let's settle that in middleweight, and we'll see where it goes. But Dricus du Plessis is still your middleweight champion, and it was outstanding. Shout out to him. Shout out to his team. Shout out to South Africa. It was amazing. Now, let's move on to another fight. Now, this one, I took pride in that co-main event because your boy had received 2 emails. Bing. Your boy had received 2 emails where people were coming at your boy Matt's throat. They was going for me. You know what I'm talking about? That I was picking Zhang Weili to win this fight over Tatiana Suarez. And for the life of me, I just don't get it, bro. If you're a Tatiana Suarez fan, more power to you. She's got a great story. She's overcome a lot in her life. And it's outstanding to see her finally get her title shot. But in my opinion, I just did not see where people were so confident that it was going to be almost like a landslide victory for Tatiana Suarez against a woman that is now in the conversation as one of the GOAT fighters in women's mixed martial arts after this win. You know what I'm saying? I just did not see, when I'm watching different people doing their content on YouTube and different YouTube videos and a lot of the major, MMA outlets that were covering this, they were all just, you know what I'm saying? They was all on Tatiana Suarez. And I was like, okay, I get it. She's looked dominant against a lot of women, but this is Zhang Weili. I don't care about Rose taking her down and holding her down. Bro, that was 4 years ago. And to be honest with you, bro, when you look at Zhang Weili, who, if I haven't said it, goes out there and defeats Tatiana Suarez via 5-round decision. When you look at Zhang Weili, this woman is somewhere around 180 days, maybe less, maybe more, of having the reign that Joanna Jędrzejczyk had at 115. Granted, I know Zhang Weili lost the fight in between there, but still, you get what I'm saying. We're talking about overall consecutive days. I know she lost the belt, but still, when you add both her reigns together, she's almost where Joanna Jędrzejczyk was. If I'm not mistaken, she's now tied her in overall title defenses if you add both of these reigns together. You have to look at this woman. This woman beat the Boogie Woman twice. Although I will say that huge Young Jacek fan, I gave Joanna the win in their first fight, even though the judges didn't. But still, Zhang Weili has gone out there. She's beaten Joanna twice. She's beaten everyone they put in front of her. She always talked about that she didn't want to fight another Chinese fighter. She went out there and she beat Yan Xiaonan. And, my video for that, I actually felt like Yan did a lot better than what a lot of people gave her credit for. And I kind of criticized Zhang Weili for, not putting her away when she had different opportunities. But at the same time, bro, you got to put some respect on Weili's name. You got to put some respect on it. She went out there and smoked that Suarez pack. You know what I'm saying? And to the two different people that reached out to me in my emails, bing, bro, here's the deal, man. Y'all was so confident about Tatiana Suarez, but that fight played out exactly how I thought it was. There was a mythical, I know a lot of y'all newer MMA fans not be aware. I'm over here with gray hair and the beard, so I know. I've been around, you know what I'm saying? I'm from around the way. You know what I'm talking about? But bro, there was a mythical heavyweight named Cain Velasquez back in the day. And I know all of y'all, all you Tom Aspinalls and all of this, there used to be this guy at heavyweight. His name was Cain Velasquez. And at one point, pound for pound, he looked to be the greatest heavyweight fighter that we had ever seen. He looked like he was poised to eclipse heavyweight, just about everybody heavyweight. Just about everybody heavyweight. There was a point in time where Cain Velasquez looked like no one was going to beat him. But over time, that iron will that he had, that he displayed so much in training to make it to these fights, started to do him in. And over time, that iron will to push and go into training camp after training camp and rounds and rounds and rounds and hours of sparring and training and pushing his body. And it was so clear that the man's iron mindset, a mindset forged in fire, you know what I'm saying, was there, but his body was a mere man's body, a mere human body. And his body could not keep up with what he was mentally putting down. So you had knee injuries, you had shoulder injuries, you had overtraining, you had all of these things go on, and it robbed Cain Velasquez of going down as the heavyweight GOAT. Because as he began to lose fights and spend more than a year or 2 years, 2.5 years out of the octagon trying to get back, you then began to realize, bro, this dude is never gonna reach that full heavyweight potential. Yeah, he was champion. Yeah, he had won the belt. Yeah, he got the belt. Cool. But it was so clear that he was not going to have that longevity that his skill set deserved. And that is what I saw the entire time in Tatiana Suarez. Like I said, I'm from around the way. I watched Tatiana Suarez win the Ultimate Fighter. And it was a beautiful thing to see. And that's originally where we began to see shades of the female Khabib. You know what I'm saying? And then as she began to go into these different fights early in her career, you're like, oh, she the female Khabib. You know what I'm saying? But dude, over time, the injuries start to pile up and the time out of the octagon starts to outweigh a lot of the things that you do in the octagon, and that iron will, that spirit that can't be broken. Shout out to Tatiana Suarez for everything she accomplished. The body can't match that a lot of the times with these fighters. The mind is still intact, the will is still intact, but the body isn't. And yeah, I know she got her whole knee sliced up on the cage. Her knee looked like someone, her knee looked like Lee Harvey Oswald popped a shot in it, with 3 magic bullets from out in the crowd. You know what I'm talking about? There was something going on with that knee. I get that. But at the end of the day, and I get that might affect her takedowns. Might affect a lot of things that you don't want to be. They was talking about a fighter earlier had Matt burns on his knees. You don't want to be a Matt burn in the knee when you got, a Lee Harvey Oswald size hole, John F. Kennedy size hole in your kneecap. So I get it, but to the 2 people that tried to come for your boy Matt, go off on me in the 2 emails, where you at now when we over smoking on that Suarez pack? You know what I'm saying? Bro, that fight played out how I thought. Everyone sees Tatiana Suarez at her best moments and put 2 and 2 together and felt like she was going to do that against Weili. Against Weili? We talking about Weili. The OG gangster, you know what I'm saying? We talking about Zhang Weili. You know what I'm saying? Then you saw, like, as soon as I saw Tatiana Suarez, I'm watching her throughout the week, building up to this fight, and I'm like, something is off. She's too in the moment in a bad way, and too in her head. And she just wasn't able to be calm and collected like Weili. Weili was calm, collected, making jokes, waving at the fans, everything. But it wasn't a sense of she was not taking Tatiana Suarez seriously. It was just, bro, I'm goated here. I'm Zhang Weili. Remember me, Zhang Weili. One of her first statements she made to us mixed martial arts fans. And the whole build-up, we're hearing about Tatiana Suarez and whatever she overcome. And when they put the mic in her face, like, yo, Tatiana, what do you think? She had nothing for anybody. And I get that's not really her style to, talk up a storm on the mic, but still, bro. Then when I saw her walking out to the octagon, the contrast between these 2, and she's walking out and she's all pumped up, you know what I'm saying? And she's all hyped and she's tense. And granted, when she first, at the beginning of her walkout, I looked at her and I thought, oh, this is a woman you don't want to meet on a dark alley, on a back street. She'll take your lunch money, you know what I'm saying? She'll reach into your pocket, take your wallet, and you won't do a thing about it, right? But as she's, getting ready to enter the octagon, she's, dapping up her coaches and everything. Shout out to Patchy Mix. And, all of this, as she's entering into the octagon, I'm like, you know what? This moment might be a little bit too big for her. She had such a long road, so many injuries, so many things to overcome to get to this point. This moment might swallow her up. Now let's talk about the contrast. Zhang Weili comes out, and the aura was on 100 max. It was on 10. It was amazing. You know what I'm saying? This woman was confident. She looked like she had a secret that she knew that was going to lead her to victory over Suarez. And she just looked like she was there to, in a way, if it was being handed to her, accept her destiny. And so I know a lot of y'all, including the 2 people that went at me in the emails, I know y'all felt that aura when she walked out and you knew your goose was cooked. You knew. It was cooked, it was fried, it was put in a crock pot, it was over. And another telltale sign. So Tatiana goes out there and does well in the first round. And there's a little bit of reversing by the end of the first round by Weili. But okay, you can go ahead and give that round to Tatiana. That's all good. When Tatiana went back to her corner after the first round, I'm watching this fight with my wife and we're both remarking on the same thing. Tatiana goes in the corner and she's all out of sorts. And she's like, she's not there. And she just sounded so confused and befuddled at the fight itself. And it wasn't like she was losing the fight at that point, but she was just so like, I'm not using her words. I'm just making up things. I'm paraphrasing in a way, but she was just like, almost like she didn't know what round she was entering into. She didn't know what just happened. She didn't understand if her wrestling was working. She didn't really know. And Patchy Mix tried his best to settle her, but you know, she just seemed all out of sorts. And so that's when I told my wife, she's for sure gonna lose this fight. She's for sure gonna lose this. This moment is eclipsing her. She finally achieved her dream. She made it to this fight, but it's eclipsing her. She's too out of sorts. She wasn't present in the moment. And then the bottom fell out of her fight after that. Round two began the bottom falling out of her fight. And it continued for the next 4 rounds. Zhang Weili is still your strawweight champion of the world. And at this point, I think, they're going to put a few fighters in the path of Mackenzie Dern. They're going to do some, I believe they're probably going to do Zhang Xiaonan stepping in there with, I believe her name is Jandaroba. I might be mispronouncing that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Shout out to her. Bro, they're going to try to make a few contenders is what I'm saying at 115. But in the meantime, I think whoever wins between Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fiorot, I feel like the winner of that, you're getting locked in the octagon with Zhang Weili. This will give Zhang Weili time to hit the weight room, do her thing, build herself up naturally, and you're going to have a fight on your hands. Whoever's going to have to step in there with Weili, you're going to have a fight on your hand. Shout out to Zhang Weili. It was awesome to see. It was great. That's just what it was, man. Great card. Just want to have a few little mentions of a few other fighters here that I thought, really impressed me, really put on a great show. Jonathan Mikalev, great show, outstanding. You know what I'm saying? What do you want to say? This man was poised. He stuck with the game plan for all 3 rounds, spamming that body kick to the head kick. It was amazing. Shout out to him. Tom Nolan, shout out to him. He did his thing. Stamina remained through all 3 rounds. That was outstanding to see. He looked great. How about Rong Ju? Rong Ju went out there and did his thing after, getting dropped early in the first round, getting caught early, but came back, did his thing, bro. Put on an outstanding show. That was great to see. And then Taliesin Teixeira, bro, went out there against my guy Tafa. Bro, shout to him. He looked poised. He looked great. I know a lot of people didn't know if that size was going to be a factor. They thought it was going to be detrimental for him, but he looked outstanding, dude. Shout out to him. That was all great. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick. 2 more things. Alex Pereira stepping in the octagon with Ankalaev at UFC 313. Bruh. A lot of the times people don't want to dive into a lot of the UFC matchmaking. They just stay in it at surface level and then they go off about it. This right here is outstanding matchmaking by the UFC, and I'm going to tell you why. Ankalaev has built up, the win streak, of course, is there. I think he's won like 11 fight win streak or something. I don't know what it is, bro. But, dude, he definitely deserves a title shot. I get that. But he's deserved a title shot for a while. And the UFC kept dodging and going around it and going around it. And a lot of the times, I don't think people give the matchmakers their credit. Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, and of course Dana White. And in my opinion, what I saw the UFC doing? Because the UFC is, of course, all about maximizing their dollars. And I get it. All of y'all want to hate on it, but I get it, bro. Because if you ever get to run a business or if you've ran a business, then you understand where the UFC's coming from. You know what I'm saying? And they wanted to maximize all of the dollars we can get out of this cash cow that is Alex Pereira. And deep down, they probably are looking at it and they're like, this Ankalaev is a beast. You know, now he's really gotten better at striking, but his wrestling is on point. And this is a guy that might go out there and put Alex Pereira away or wrestle him for 5 rounds and get a 5-round decision. And then where are we then? So they strategically kept hiding Ankalaev at the back. He's at the back of the kitchen cabinet. You know what I'm saying? He's that, you know, he's that canned good at the back of the kitchen cabinet. We pulling all the canned goods that we normally use for cooking and our regular meals, pull all of them to the front. You know what I'm saying? But put that to the back. You know what I'm saying? He's in string beans. You know what I'm talking about? Put him in the back. You know what I'm saying? He them French cut green beans. You know what I'm saying? Push him in the back. You know what I'm saying? That can of cream corn. You know what I'm talking about? Bro, at the end of the day, they've maximized the Alex Pereira dollar at 205. And so at this point, in a world where Dricus du Plessis wants a fight with Alex Pereira, John Jones wants a fight with Alex Pereira at heavyweight. You know, even Tom Aspinall wouldn't mind that Alex Pereira smoke at heavyweight. In this world, we are now getting to the point where the UFC feels like, okay, we had him fight the Khalil Roundtrees, the Yuri Prohashkas. We've had him fight Jamal Hill. We've done all of that. It's now time. We need to do this Ankalaev fight. Because imagine this. If Alex Pereira goes out there and beats Ankalaev, well, the path is clear at the moment at 205. There's not a lot else going on at that moment in that division. So if they want to pull the trigger on Pereira going down, let's say Dricus du Plessis defeats Khamzat Chimaev. If they want to pull that trigger and weight drain him and he goes down, okay. And if he loses to du Plessis because of the weight drain, okay. We've already maximized our dollars with Alex Pereira. Or if they can't get John Jones to agree to an Aspinall fight, maybe they finally just like, look, let's just give John Alex Pereira so he can shut his little stupid mouth and ride off into the sunset and leave us alone. Tom's the new heavyweight champion. Let's put him in there with Alex Pereira and let's maximize that Pereira dollar again. And if Pereira beats John Jones, heavens to Betsy, you know what I'm talking about? Oh my God. But if John Jones beats Alex Pereira, okay. We still maximize our Pereira dollar. We can then pivot, send him elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Genius. And if Ankalaev beats Alex Pereira, cool. Now Ankalaev's the champion. That really frees up Pereira for the UFC to move him strategically where they need to move him and maximize the money. Shout out to him. Shout out to the UFC. Can't wait to see him versus Ankalaev. I think it's going to be a great fight. We'll see how it goes down. Last thing I wanted to talk about, shout out to the Dominator, Dominic Cruz, has called it quits. He is retiring. He was set to step in the octagon with Rob Font. I was very interested in seeing that fight, but he sustained yet another devastating shoulder injury and just called it a career after that. And shout out to Dominic Cruz, bro. Dominic Cruz is another guy that goes along with Cain Velasquez and Tatiana Suarez. You know, when it comes to a fighter whose iron will, whose strategic mind, the body could not keep up with. You know, you go back, you look at Dominic Cruz in the WEC days, the fights he was putting on out there. This man, they had never seen footwork like the footwork that Dom brought to the game. You look at his trilogy of fights against Uriah Faber. Outstanding fight. You know what I'm saying? Dominic Cruz always been that dude when it comes to fighting Uriah Faber. You know what I'm saying? I know he got schooled by Cody Garbrandt, but it is what it is. Sometimes it's just gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Y'all's boy Adesanya got schooled by Strickland. I mean, it is what it is, bro. But you look at Dominic Cruz, bro, and so many years of his career were robbed due to injuries and time on the shelf and not being able to get back into the octagon. Shout out to him. At least he's got that fallback of, he's a great analyst for the UFC. Shout out to him, man. Dominic Cruz was before his time. A lot of your guys, like your TJ Dillashaws, your Corey Sandhagens, a lot of these guys mimicked, they honed their skill level of footwork based out of the blueprint that he laid out. So shout out to Dominic Cruz. I wish we could have got that bantamweight fight against Jose Aldo, but it is what it is. Shout out to Dominic Cruz, man. Outstanding career, outstanding fighter. If you've been around for a long time watching mixed martial arts, and you know what Dominic Cruz brought to the game. Shout out to him, man. Happy trails as he rides off into the sunset. And of course, it's great that we're still going to be able to hear him on commentary, which is outstanding. So that was it, man. That was UFC 312. It went down in Sydney, Australia. Pretty decent card. Still Knox Dricus du Plessis is still your middleweight champion, and Zhang Weili is still your strawweight champion. Outstanding show, and we move forward. So once again, I do want to thank you guys. You all let me know, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you felt about the main and the co-main event. Were you shocked by the wins by Weili and by du Plessis? Let me know. And or did you already call it? Let me know. And once again, I do want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.